Aye.
Oh, specifically at me. Okay.
Yes. Right. So, I follow a Asian influencer on Instagram. Not yourself, another one.
Say, is it IY?
That'd be quite the compliment if I was an influencer.
And they recently...
if I was Asian, to be honest. I apologize.
A couple of weeks ago, they talked about the fact that they have actually experienced like dirty looks and stuff since the start of this coronavirus outbreak. And I was actually really curious. Have you experienced anything like that? Like maybe not like direct like racism, because you get enough of that on the show. But like in like your actual life, like have you experienced like dirty looks and stuff, or like anyone treating you differently since the whole start of this? No.
But I could see like how that could happen, but like for me personally, it's just like nope. See, they know not to mess with me. They have one good look at me, and they're like, "Fuck."
He's from Belfast. He can handle himself.
They get that by looking at him.
Yep.
See,
they hear me talk really, really fast, and they're like, "I don't understand this guy. He must be speaking Chinese."
See, it's weird because like in obviously where I live, which is in deep Belfast territory. A lot of people
That's
were
not
giving...
the word I thought you would use.
I was going to say what? The shankle. But people were giving... I noticed it anyway. People were giving Asian people dirty looks, but it was more to do with... They inherited the whole like gloves and facial masks and stuff like that a lot earlier than the rest of the country did. And to me, I'm kind of wondering, was it dirty looks in the way that just because like, what the fuck are they like getting on like that, or was it more to do with the fact of what this influence was, which is they're blaming Asian people, or they believe Asian people are getting the blame for the coronavirus outbreak?
I kind of agree. I'd feel like, and I don't know if it is a stereotype, is that I definitely saw Asian people wearing like masks and stuff before anyone else. But you'd see it like if there is say tourists, they typically would wear the masks.
Yeah.
But
I think that because like, so and then it made me think, was the influencer then getting dirty looks because she was possibly wearing the mask and gloves, or was it because of actual racism? But then again, that's the drama that the influencer's got to put into the story to get them likes.
Yeah, because you got to share your problems. That's how you get.
Yeah.
I saw IY complaining about his bad cookies on Instagram, and it made me feel personally. I had empathy because I make great cookies.
Actually, Mum said your last batch wasn't as good as your first batch.
Yeah, I did chocolate and toffee instead of chocolate and walnut, and I feel like the toffee ruined the structural integrity of the cookie.
What about the moral integrity of the cookie?
I also feel like it might have killed Dad with the amount of sugar in it.
Don't kill Dad, for fuck's sake. Well, I made garlic butter, so fuck you.
Is that not just butter and garlic?
But you gotta soften the butter first, and then you gotta put, and then you gotta put in the garlic, and then you gotta put in the parsley, and then.
Why am I imagining Hans just got like a tub of butter and just started ramming full cloves of garlic into the butter?
Yeah, is that not?
It's like garlic butter. Yeah, did it.
Funny enough, I imagined them getting a bowl of butter, getting like whole cloves of garlic, and just getting a fork to mash it together.
Skin and all still on.
Just spreading
extra fiber.
Spreading bits of butter on the garlic and then eating the cloves of garlic. It's like, my favourite meal.
I haven't done anything with it, it's just sitting on the fridge.
Make garlic bread or something. So they're just like, fuck, you know what I should make? Garlic butter. You didn't have an idea of what to do with it?
I had an idea, I just didn't have the ingredients.
Idea.
Outside of the garlic, the butter. I didn't have any of the rest of the ingredients, so...
All right, Hans.
Yes,
as you have the inside scoop of
Asda. Oh, fuck, right, yeah.
Right.
Censor that, Nick.
No.
So shit, yeah.
As you have the inside scoop of Asda. put that over to Asda.
Okay. Little.
Aldi.
If I want to get some eggs, Hans...
Right, yes.
Because there are no eggs in my giant
Asda.
What time do you restock that shit?
What Asda? Could you shop at?
Oh, Hans is actually going to look on the app, isn't
No. Like,
Okay.
do you know, is it a 24-hour Asda goes, or does it close at night?
I thought all
Asda.
closed at night.
I thought all
No,
of
some still have night
like,
replay.
still have staff on, yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought most
Asda.
were actually closed.
But the way that they would change. So if it's, I suppose I would say when the store opens, so 8 o'clock or whenever it is,
Well, that's pretty early to get up. Whenever you don't have a job. Oh.
because
the early bird gets the egg hour.
What? I gotta write that down. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
eggs are like the one thing which I like would use a lot of, but like I can't find that many.
buy a chicken.
Yeah,
buy a
buy
chicken.
your own chicken, man.
Why did I have that exact same thought as I should buy a chicken?
3 to 1 IY, you gotta buy a chicken.
No, but people have apparently been doing that.
Yeah.
And then when it outlives
That's-
its usefulness, you can just kill it and have a nicer chicken for dinner.
Whoa, no, please. We call it butchering, right? We call it killing.
And then you use the eggs so you can batter the chicken. It's perfect. You're bathing the... What?
I got no Hans finish that sentence.
You could use the eggs to batter the chicken, so it's
Yeah.
like bathing the dead corpse of the mother and its
But
child's
like,
blood.
you wouldn't,
There
why
you
would
go.
you use eggs?
Is that where you knew I was going with that?
Yeah, that's it. I knew you were going to say that.
And then you can smother it in garlic butter.
Yeah, I'll lend you some.
That's an amazing recipe. Now, have you ever made pasta aglio-olio?
Yes, and
That's
it
what
came out terribly.
Why?
It's not like 4 ingredients. How'd you fuck it up?
It just wasn't that nice. Like, I just don't. Yeah, I just don't think. I think I maybe like burnt the garlic or like cooked the garlic for too long or something. Like
That's what I'm making for the family on Saturday.
Like, it's a really cool thing. Like,
But then
and
it's
like
like
yeah, it
4
is really
ingredients.
basic. But yeah, I didn't do very well with it at the start.
My last couple of family dinners have gone down very well. I did slow cooker jambalaya the other day.
Oh, last time I tried to make jambalaya, I fucked it up. Wasn't even funny.
That's why a slow cooker is really handy, because it's very hard to fuck them up in the slow cooker.
Yeah, but I don't have a slow cooker. I have a pot, and that pot is actually ruined now because of...
Well, you
Well,
should buy yourself a slow cooker, Hans.
Your pot is ruined now because of...
Thanks. Sweet.
You should
Stop.
just get good.
Pot, if you're listening, I'd love a sponsorship.
Why? You're not going to... Would you get several slow cookers?
I could have so many things slow cooking at the same
Like-
time.
like
I could start like
slow
Monday's
cookers.
dinner on Friday.
No. This is what you do, right? You get all these sponsorships, and then you have a prize giving, and that's how you get rid of them. While
I think
getting
it's like
all
you,
them
you
followers.
like, you like hoard 100 crock pots and then sell them on a black market somewhere.
That's what people are really wanting right now.
Also, any chair companies out there, hit me up. I could do with a new computer chair.
Yeah, IKEA. Let's get a sponsorship deal on the go here.
Considering mine still has a Fallout 4 and Skyrim strategy guide duct tape to one of the feet.
I am loving the chair I'm in right now.
Well, how is your
There
new
you go,
chair?
new one, yeah, that's
Eh,
right.
Pimp it out, man. See if you can get us a sponsorship.
Nah, it's fine. Like it's a chair, but it is decent. It's decent. So, as much as I wanted the really ugly cream colored massage one,
So did you not go for that because Amy put her foot down? She's like, I'm not having that in my apartment.
No. Like, let's be honest here. Like cream color is not like it is hideous.
Hans, what colour is your chair?
The one that I'm sitting in right now?
Yeah.
Black and
It'd
green?
be a nice cream colour, isn't
No,
it?
it's the one I'm sitting in right now is black and green.
Why are you sitting in my chair? Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Not So Super Bash Bros presents Game Club for April 2020. Yes, Game Club is back, the monthly video podcast review thing where we take turns playing games. Go play them for the month. Take turns picking games.
He was so close to getting through it.
Take turns picking games, go play them for the month, and come back and discuss them for your listening pleasure. This month, Alex picked Chroma Squad from Behold Studios, and as ever, I am your host, the Green Ranger Nick Davis, joined by the Red Ranger Hans Davis.
I was almost so proud of you for getting through that without breaking, Nick.
The Pink Ranger, Alex Proudfoot.
Hello.
And the Yellow Ranger, I.Y. Chung.
I thought you were going to be like, and I bet you're expecting me to say the Yellow Ranger, I.Y. Chung.
Nope. Casual racism. Here we go.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, the first series of Power Rangers was...
It did have an Asian person as the Yellow Ranger, yeah.
Yes, and there was a black guy as the Black Power Ranger. Like, you know, like how much more on the nose can you get?
They changed that to blue later, right?
No.
In the second series?
Second series was Zeo, was it not?
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure Black Eye was the Blue Ranger.
No, he was the Green Ranger.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yes. There was no Blue. Was there a Blue Ranger in Zeo?
There was, the former Red Ranger became the Blue Ranger in Zeo.
Man, Power Rangers is great.
I'm really, like, stretching back here. Like, I was like, what, 7 when Power Rangers was out? So I'm really, like... Rocky? Was that the second Red Ranger's name? And then
Yes.
Rocky. Yes. Okay. God, I'm...
Old.
Why can't I remember useful knowledge and all I remember is fucking this shit?
Yes, Chroma Squad, the turn-based Sentai tactical game. Originally
What,
released...
sorry?
Sentai.
Oh, right, okay, let's go. Sweet.
That's the Power Rangers genre.
Be careful typing that into Google.
Originally released April 2015 on the PC and has since been released on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, every mobile platform you could imagine. So, Alex.
Yes, Nick.
Why did you pick Chroma Squad?
Why not?
It's not an answer.
It is an answer.
He picked it because he didn't have to play it.
What?
Yeah, because you've already finished it. So you said, like, I don't need to play it because I've already played
No,
it.
I finished it again.
So did I.
Nah, that's usually Hans's approach.
No, I did play it for this.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. I thought you said, like, no.
I feel like the only time it's really happened was Hans with Mass Effect. He was like, I've already played this a couple of times.
That was Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
The first one I did play. No, Mass Effect 2 I got like, was it 3 planets in? I was like, fuck this.
No, I picked it because I was thinking of either picking this one or another one. But I thought I'll pick this one first to get... I'll leave the questionable one until later on. And I'll just go for this one.
Alex, most of your picks are questionable, let's be honest.
Yeah, so I thought I would get a known quantity out of the way.
Okay, fair enough. So, as ever, I have broken this down into 3 categories.
Nick, what are those categories?
You ready, Alex?
Yeah.
Gameplay.
Wild access.
Characters and story.
Magical source, mystic force.
What? And what other genre of game would be a good fit for the Power Rangers?
Ninja Storm Ranger form.
Man, there are some dumb Power Ranger series.
Yeah, there really is. I'm pretty sure they did a Witches and Wizards one recently.
Yeah, I got that second one.
My favourite one is Go Go Samurai.
My favourite one is Dino Thunder, Power Up, or RPM, Get in Gear, which I feel like is something you yell at your car while you're driving.
Time for Time Force? That's just...
That's lazy. That's just
That's very lazy.
That's also bad grammar because the same word is used twice in a sentence.
So, before we kick into it, how far did everyone get in Chroma Squad? As 2 people who have finished the game previously and again, I believe. How many is it 5 series overall?
5 series and then 1 final episode.
Okay. I was just judging it by like the way your character unlocks their skills. I think I got about halfway through the 3rd series. Hans.
I completed it for the 2nd time.
Alex.
I completed it.
IY.
I literally got on, or finished, or got on to the 5th, where you make like the big story decision.
That's the first episode of the 5th, yeah.
So really close, but not quite.
Does it stay kind of a consistent length for each series? I know this third one has 4 interim episodes.
I think bar the last episode, which is like a one-off. Season 6 is like just a one-off final episode. Yeah, pretty much.
I think it was the second series had your opener 3 episodes, then your finale. I think the third series had your opener 4 episodes and then the finale.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember.
They seem like they were consistent length.
That, yeah.
So first up, the gameplay. It's probably best to describe Chroma Squad gameplay as a tactics game, more in the vein of something like a Final Fantasy Tactics than a XCOM or Gears Tactics, to be topical. And honestly, I think the gameplay where I was at in the game was kind of meh. It felt really shallow, and I know it's probably unfair to compare it to something like an XCOM or a Gears, but it is the easy comparison to make in the grand scheme of things. It just never evolved from kind of what you started as. The battles all felt like they were playing out the same way. Yes, there was occasionally ones where, you have to destroy the portals before too many enemies spawn, you get overrun, things like that. There was a series, or there was episodes where you had to just hold out rather than actually have a defined objective. But other than that, like every battle and every boss kind of felt like the same sort of thing. You ran up, you did whatever moves you needed to, and then you tried to set up for the finishing blow, usually to get the best kind of outcome. And it'd be interesting to hear from Hans and Alex, and you got further as well. Does the gameplay evolve much from like what is there in, say, those first 2.5 series that I played?
No.
Not really. The only real difference is some of the boss fights you have to use a bit more strategy. Maybe thinking more so of the very, very last one. But no. So to me, yeah, the core gameplay is kind of shallow and stuff, but what kept it interesting for me was having to change the way I played so I could hit all the director's tasks or director's notes. What the fuck are they called?
Actions.
Director actions. That was the bit that kind of kept it interesting for me, because especially in the last season, it was like, deal the final blow with the tech, or keep the tech standing for 5 turns or something like that. So it kind of, that made it more interesting for me, or that's what I found interesting about the combat.
I also thought it was pretty cool that when the story was being pushed by a certain character, all the director's actions were like making that character look a lot better.
Yeah, like that's kind of where I was at in Series 3. It was like all the director's actions are about making your lead character like look the best, and like make him deal the finishing blow, make sure he doesn't get knocked down and things like that. Which, like, it's cool that they tied those objectives and things like that into the story, but my issue with kind of those director's actions, and you're right, maybe they changed later on, up to that point they all were very, very easy to kind of do, to be honest. Like, it never felt like I had to go massively out of my way to achieve them, like, other than just kind of playing it normally. Maybe I would have been like, alright, I'll take an extra turn here to get everyone together so I can do a final, like, the finishing move. But, like, it never felt like, shit, I'm struggling to do this because it's completely against how I've usually been playing.
Well, to me, what made that challenging was that, and again, it's more so for the boss fights, was a lot of the boss fights where it's like, you have to deal the finishing move, or kill with the finishing move. A lot of those bosses have like knockback attacks, so you're like, okay, everyone's in place, just have to let from, like, he has to just land a couple of attacks, and then he does like one of the ones I'm thinking of is like the pop-up pirate parody boss fight, and he like knocks everyone away. I'm like, oh, you fucking asshole. I have to how I go and like think. So it was like that, like, you know, it was the strategy of, right, I can't move my guys too close, otherwise they'll get knocked away, so I move them just close enough that where the guy has to spend a movement turn, you know, getting up to the attack range. That's where I thought the strategy was in. Yeah, I think the gameplay is it is simple, but I think you can have a lot of fun with the director's tasks. And I do think, like, the one thing that is good about it is that it keeps introducing new enemies, though, like minions, like right up until the last season.
I'm not. I don't think I can give you that one.
Why?
Like, so the enemies, you get the basic dude,
the squirrel, yes.
Yeah, the basic gun dude,
the bird.
Okay, and then you have like a tank one.
Yeah,
and then you have
turtle. Yeah.
Yeah, then you have like a healing one.
The toad.
Right?
Yeah.
And then got the ninja.
And then you've got the ninja mouse, and then you've got the rhinoceros.
Yeah, but like those, like I felt like I don't feel like they really meant anything. And what I really didn't like was how, which is a real shame because I actually felt like there was so much potential. Like they just recolored the basic guys for later, which I think is really cheap. And then yeah, I don't think enemy types is what keeps this game like that good, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
When you say the minions are changing, like, does it actually change how they play or like react? Because I feel like yes, they changed the models of some of the minions, like, and yes, they did introduce stuff like the frog healers and things like that. But by and by, a lot of the minions didn't really do much different, other than this guy maybe has more health, or maybe they've just gone to the next tier to kind of match the new equipment I'm getting. Never felt like any of the minions really did much different, other than this guy's melee, this guy's ranged, this guy's a healer.
There's obviously the visual changes, which is they start off crappy looking because and then you get better stuff, and then it becomes
that's what I meant. Like whenever it feels like to go to the next tier, like they're still the same minions, they're just kind of like level up.
And then there's spoilers here next, so sorry to ruin it for you.
That's
but then
completely fine.
Everything becomes real, and they then they become up. They go up again. Like they actually have armor and stuff. But no, so like the rhinos actually are like a tank or attack buffs. So like they will. They're kind of like berserkers. Probably be a good archetype for them. The mouse ninjas are more of a rogue type. So like they will like it's hard to hit them because they'll increase their evasion and stuff like that.
Yeah, they get like guaranteed dodge ability
and dodge counter and stuff like that. And then you've got the turtles and stuff, which are tanks, but then they also have the ability to stun you with their shell shock. Which, by the way, they're just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that made me mark out a wee bit seeing that. So no, like I feel like although you don't have to approach them all completely differently, each one offers a new threat. So like, yes, okay, if at the end of the day all you have to do is hit them and their numbers go down.
Yeah.
But it's more about a defensive thing. So like I have to be careful. Like one of the healers' abilities, I think it's the healers' abilities, is to debuff enemies. So okay, I would use that then. In the more defensive tactics, I would use that then to make sure that the rhinoceros is not going to fuck me up royally and stuff like that. So it's not more about how you would approach it on an attack standpoint, but it's more about how you would react to them defensively. That's what kind of the different minions did for me. Same way like it with the range characters, because unless it was my scout, my guys couldn't catch up to them because they were so far away. So I ended up having to just fucking chuck people across the map to land a hit on them.
I don't know, it was something that felt very like, I felt like we brought this up in another game, I just can't remember what it was, where like it felt like I was doing the same thing in wherever I got to in the game as I was in, say, the very first mission. Yes, I had a couple of new bells and whistles to do, but I also feel like none of those abilities were like massive gameplay defining things. Typically the abilities are just, I do more damage to a target, or I do damage around me, things like that.
But the lasso,
to be fair,
lasso's kind of handy, I'll admit.
I thought that my first time playing it through, but this time I think I used the abilities a lot more effectively, like by alternating who I was playing as first and stuff like that. So say if my guys are getting their ass kicked, I would use my leader's ability to call everyone together, and then use my healer's AoE healing ability then, so I'm going to guarantee everyone gets healed instead of just whoever's around her. So using it like that, I find it a bit... Definitely the first time I was kind of more, just hit the buttons, but this time I did find myself using more tactics. Same with like the assault, is that what the attack... The assault's trample ability.
Oh yeah.
So the assault could only move like 3 fucking squares in any direction. So I find myself moving him and then using the trample ability to get further because it's a free movement, and then using an attack to get him somewhere, like to actually do damage. Yeah, I think there's more layers to it whenever you start like using all, like when you start taking into the fact you can change the order of who's going first, the amount of abilities and what they do differently and the different orders you use them. I do think there's a bit more strategy there than you originally think.
You can also set up pretty sweet chains, so like you can move someone in, set them up for teamwork, and then they can flip someone off into the distance and then do a teamwork attack. as
As
well.
I call it, the old skeet and yeet.
God damn it, Hans.
But it's funny because, like, my assault guy can, like, literally, because I guess it's his character type, can chuck people literally the entire way across the fucking map. And I was just like, yeet, and then that's it. Like, they're away.
There was something more I wanted out of the gameplay, and I don't think it ever got that far. And by the sounds of it, doesn't feel like it ever gets that far. And it's not that it's. I get, like, yes, this is a relatively simple game compared to something like an XCOM from the complete outset. It's not going to be something that's that deep, but there was still some complexity I would have liked to seen that would have made me be like, oh shit, yeah, I need to completely kind of change how these are like what I'm doing.
I agree. I actually think compared to like XCOM and stuff, that's really bad. But I think like if you compare it to something like you said, Final Fantasy Tactics or Disgaea, actually.
Yeah.
If you want to chuck people, Alex, right, and fucking make stacks, right, you play that game. But the thing is, like, in those kind of games, you have stuff like elemental weaknesses and, like, positional facing. But in this game, all enemies, except for bosses, will attack the closest hero unless, and this is something which I've noticed, which is really weird, unless it would down them, then they will actually attack someone else. So I've been in lots of situations where...
if they're in range, I think they'll go for someone else.
Yeah, it's really weird. I actually really like it. I actually think it's really cool. But it means then, like, you know, the AI is not that interesting.
What difficulty did you play it on?
So I put it on the one on hard at the start, and then I got really, like, fed up with the game, that I put it down to normal.
Whatever. Interesting is the normal one.
Pet peeve? Yeah, pet peeve. I hate games now that just don't have easy, normal, hard.
Have to put cute names on them.
Yeah, a new pet peeve. Just make it easy, normal, hard, and then maybe either like very hard, like on the other
side. You don't
like,
or like Dante must die? Like, you don't want the shit like that?
But
you don't want,
maybe Dante wants to die, so it's from Doom. Easy, but like, maybe Dante wants to die, you know, so it's an easy mode. You just don't know. Fucking...
Yeah, that's fair. I can get behind that. But yeah, no, I don't think the combat is very interesting. That being said, though, I will say this. So I played a lot of it up to chapter 3-ish, and then I got really burnt out because, as you saw, Nick, like, it is the same. Now, a few days ago, I was like, shit, I kind of want to see what else there is to this game. So I thought, okay, I'd play it. Got to chapter 4, and I think that tier of abilities and just having a range of stuff to do made me enjoy the game more. Because I could murder stuff faster to then get me to go on. And then, unfortunately, obviously, I got to chapter 5. And yeah, that's great. But then I think there is this middle period where your characters just don't do enough. And I think at the start of the game, you also... It's really weird, actually, because you don't really... As a new player, you don't know any of this stuff, but, like, you have to pick actors, right, for each of the roles, which I think is really cool, by the way. That's really fucking cool. But then there's, like, certain stat stuff, right? And I'm like, okay, fair enough. But what I didn't realize is obviously what you don't know from the get-go, I believe, apart from, I think, one of the characters, is what weapon they're associated with. So, the protagonist, what I didn't know was that his entire tech tree is either about being a tank, or he has like a spear talent.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I'm making Wesley Snipes my hero, who's like a gun person. I'm like, wait a second. This shit don't fly.
I also made him my hero because I didn't care about the stats.
Right? And it's just... And I think that stuff actually makes a huge difference. Like, the most useful character is just like the melee one, like whoever the I think... No,
the assault.
Whoever it is, because they can like one-shot stuff.
Yeah. That axe does a fuck ton of damage.
Yeah. The assault one is just a fucking beast.
Yeah, and like I only had really quote-unquote fun at chapter 4, because chapter 4 is whenever you can get armor which increases the damage you take, but you also deal more damage. So then another one of my characters can start one-shotting like the weaker guys, and then like without abilities and stuff. And yeah, my favorite thing was I didn't realize it hit chapter 4, so I was just given the default abilities. And the assault person got the cleave, and I didn't realize this. And then she like wiped out 4 enemies in one hit, and I was like, wait a second, shit, right? I can get behind this. But yeah, I think like the abilities are fine. It's just you don't get them until like the end,
Yeah, they are.
and that's a real shame. And by that point, you're like already kind of tired of these enemies, and
like
but
all
yeah.
the really cool ones are end game, which is a shame.
Yeah.
also I don't need random modifiers on my crafting gear. That again, this is
I
another
never
one of
crafted
those.
equipment in that. My crafting only ever went into making other crafting material, which then went into my Megazord parts.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did as well.
And see, by season 5, my Megazord was so fucking OP. Like,
Okay,
you know, like
so-
some of like the director's tasks were like, oh, land a 7-hit combo. Wasn't getting there. I was killing the guy by like my 4th hit. I was like, right, I need
I
to.
was the same.
So this is the thing. So I did not upgrade my Megazord. Well, no, I did. No, so I upgraded like maybe 2 parts of it. And what I don't like about, I guess we can talk about that part of the gameplay, right? Because it's split into 2, right? So the Megazord part is you doing like a, what do you call that kind of game?
Beat 'em up.
Like a precision, like
That's like a timing game.
yeah, right.
A rhythm game.
What I don't like is there's no rhythm, Hans. Yeah, is that so as Hans pointed out, right? He upgraded his mech and he was able to like 4-shot the health bars, right?
Megazord, not mech. Thank you very much.
I'm pretty sure it's called a mech.
I'm pretty
It's
sure it's
Megazord.
called
Mech.
Big Boy.
God damn it.
Is that what you altered your shout to?
Yeah.
Big fuck.
Come at me, big boy.
Yeah, so whenever I got quote unquote good at like the timing stuff, it's really sad that you can just beat all of the health bars without losing any health.
Just pummel them to death.
Yeah, right? Like you can so long as you don't miss, because you don't have to get the perfect, you can just get like
Yeah.
the awesome bit. And I started doing that and it was like, and it wanted me to ask the question, if the enemy does a special attack, is there an animation for it? Like just
Yeah, well, it's the exact same animation that when they were small, but it's just done on the Megazord
Okay.
battle screen.
Okay, so yeah, so there is this. I think like in these fights, the good guys have to lose, right? Like at least a bit. They ought to be down and out, and then bam, rocket fists or
Yeah,
whatever,
drama.
right?
Or the
But-
Mega Buster Cannon.
Yeah, but like I think that's where like the grind stuff is so much better. Where you start off as like the dudes. And then you have to like beat up some guys, and then you've probably taken some damage, and you're like, "Oh shit, it's morphin' time,"
Chromatize.
right? But then in the mech part, it's like it's not very interesting. I thought it was like it's sick the first time you see it, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, look at like the border where you've got like the camera lights, and then look at these guys. And I'm pretty sure I saw the first time. I think if you beat down the boss's health in like one combo, then like they fly out of the screen, and then they come back again. Like that's really sick, but that also
Yeah.
gets tiring.
The mech Megazord bits were kind of disappointing.
Speaking
Yeah,
of lights,
they were,
can we
yeah.
appreciate the fact when you heal someone, a light comes down to shine on them?
Thought
Okay,
that was
No
pretty
matter
funny.
where you are.
I am so disappointed not more of that shit happens in the game.
Yeah, like I think they
That was my favorite part.
they really like they started in a lot of places where like they really leaned into the idea of like, yeah, we're actually making a TV show here, and then like I feel like it stops at a point because they start introducing real things, and as soon as they start introducing real monsters, I feel like that's when it becomes less interesting.
But no, we'll talk about that in the story. Actually, that's quite story.
I get there's
Centric.
probably a reason, but like it's stuff like I like the idea of like you upgrading your studio and stuff like that. And it, like you do see effects of it, like you see the characters' outfits looking more professional, and things like that, and you see, and like as you get further in, and technically like you become more like good at your
Professional.
job, things like that. Like the abilities you're doing look less hokey. It's like it's not just a light coming down from the screen, like from the top of the screen. As funny as that is,
Hey man,
but I really like
that
those
still
really small
happens in
touches.
the last level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it still does, but like as you get the later abilities, they look more professional.
Yeah.
Like the early ones, you do still are what you would expect, but I feel like there's presentation stuff there that's really cool, and I think we'll get into it when we talk about the other bits. Is there any last gameplay bits anyone wants to bring up?
Yes. So the email stuff, right? Apparently, and I only realized this after I completed it the first time, that changes what episodes and bosses you fight
Yep.
Yeah.
completely. So I played through this time, and there was entire bosses from last time I didn't know. I was like, who the fuck's this guy? This is not the old director, like that sort of stuff. And I think that's really, really cool because it's so
subtle.
It's so it's so subtle. Like you wouldn't think like, oh, this is gonna dictate what episodes I can do next series. It's so smart. I really loved it. Loved it.
That is actually the one thing I would say about this game that like I wish other games would copy. I guess is this idea of. I bet it throws it out the window with the decision I had to make, where it was literally it did the whole classic video game thing of you can't go back on this decision, pick wisely, right? It's like okay, but I know Alex told me as well before or while I was playing it that like there is some decisions as you go through, and that's obviously from the email stuff, and like you said, like that is really subtle and like it doesn't pull you out of the game. Like whenever it says think, you better not pick the wrong one.
You can also get the game over. From a decision.
Oh, do you?
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. If you just give up at the start and just go back to the original guy.
Yeah, if you allow him to take you back and he starts directing, it's a game over.
See, for that big decision, which is about the 6th Ranger, apparently there's different outcomes for that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got Tammy, which is like the purple Ranger, I suppose.
Yeah.
Did you both get her?
So that was the ending I was on the track for.
Yeah, I got
I looked at this beforehand. I was like, yeah, okay, this apparently is what would have happened if I kept playing.
I can't remember. I remember reading it the first time I finished it, but I can't remember what the other. I think it's 3 options, and it's like whether or not
total.
whether or not you can whether or not you kill Tammy in the fight, and then after that it's whether you let her join or not. And I can't remember what the other two 6th Rangers are.
They alternate.
Do they?
Yeah, they're like guest appearances, I think.
Oh, shame. But like, it's still cool. Like, and again, this is kind of more towards story. I do love how much they absolutely nailed all the little nice touches about like Power Ranger series and stuff. Like having a 6th Ranger, like allowing you to fight as in your normal civilian identities before you chromatize and stuff like that. I love all those little touches. I think it shows how much these guys actually did love Power Rangers.
How enemies love construction yards.
Yeah, like a lot of that stuff I just thought was really, really good.
So, the story and characters. So the thing I want to kind of bring up here is we mentioned it very briefly in the preamble, and it was kind of fortunate that we did. Maybe I have been spoiled by XCOMs and Fire Emblems, but I felt like there's a layer missing from this sort of game where you get the, like, XCOM and Fire Emblem and things like that. You create your stories and you have these, like, heroic moments for certain characters because, obviously, those games rely a lot more stuff on permadeath where, like, there is these, like, high stakes in the end. And I feel like that's kind of missing from this. But I do get why, like, because you're obviously playing as a named group and it's very focused on these 5 characters. But something in, like, when I'm playing this, I think back to games like XCOM and Fire Emblem and, like, that's a real big thing when I'm playing these games. Like, when I have, like, my characters doing these big heroic moments, like, oh, this guy just saved 3 people and, like, single-handedly won me this mission without losing anyone. Or the heartbreak in an XCOM mission where you wipe a squad, you're like, God, I lost Bobby, and things like that. It's a bit of a misstep in this because it feels like the only bit you really have is like, oh, that guy went down, he'll be back up. That sucks, but that's okay. He'll be back in the next mission.
But I think that also kind of comes down to budget, and not even budget, type of game. Like, I don't like permadeath games. I just don't.
It also doesn't fit the narrative of the story because you're a group of people who set off on their own to make a TV studio. It wouldn't make sense if they suddenly dropped dead.
One of the guys died in a terrible stunt
went wrong
accident,
and he can't work anymore.
Like,
actually, oh, you know what? You would actually. Oh, wait. To be fair, right? Obviously, the actual story of this, it wouldn't make sense. But could you imagine a game where your replacements are just like a change of actors?
Yeah.
Like that happens, right?
Yeah,
right, that does happen.
And like no one mentions it. It's just you've been recast.
Yeah, right. That would
They're
actually
all
be
wearing
hilarious.
masks anyway.
So, although I would agree with Hans that I don't think there is any need to talk about permadeath in this kind of game.
Yeah,
but I think that although if you show me a game where it's about actors and then they get permanently replaced by other actors, I'll listen. But yeah, no, I think the problem more is they're talking about like stories of the characters. I think what I didn't pay enough attention. I don't know, but I didn't really feel very close to any of the characters because you get like the lead part. There was that part where like it's very focused on the lead and how like selfish the lead is. I think at one point, and you find out he's mind controlled. Spoilers. But I think the other characters, if you told me it was this character that said this line, I feel like any of the characters could have said that line. They're all kind of the same.
But there's the one character that uses emojis and has smiley faces when they talk. That's literally the one thing I picked up on, is one of the characters uses like smiley faces in their text, and that's about it.
Yeah, and like I think that is the problem about like the lack of story or characters. Sorry, not story, characters. Rather than like they don't need to die to have a story.
Yeah.
But I don't think the characters are that interesting. I think the world is what is interesting. It is not the.
But
characters.
I feel like you don't get that interesting. As this probably ties back to the gameplay, where you don't get the interest in your characters because you don't have like those hero moments that you would get in other tactical games. And that maybe just goes hand in hand with the idea of like the permadeath stuff, but you don't necessarily need it to have those sorts of moments in a game.
I would argue that normal's too easy because
I would agree. As someone who likes playing harder difficulties, especially these games, I would agree. However, it's a slog whenever you don't actually have like abilities and you're just like punching a dude.
Yeah.
And you're just like slapping each other, and it's just like, this is not fun at that point.
Later in the game, you steamroll episodes, and there's no jeopardy, but there is jeopardy built in to the game system, because you lose fans if you fail an episode, and you get cancelled if you lose too many fans. But on normal, it is nearly impossible to lose an episode.
So I never felt like any of this stuff mattered.
Yeah.
I always felt like...
That's what I'm saying. On normal...
But as I said, I started the game on the harder one. Yeah. And I played up to like season 3 or whatever, like halfway through the game. And I never felt like, maybe I was so pro at managing my shit, but I don't think I was. Like, I think I just played the game and it was just kind of there.
Yeah, try the final boss fight. It's a fucking... It can be challenging at times.
Alright, let me just boot up my Switch.
Live stream, let's go, here we go.
Motherfucker and his portal gun. Son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. That boss fight's a goddamn mess.
My thing with the story is, Nick, you would not have seen this yet, so as I said, so it starts to turn real after a while. So at a certain point, it's like whenever Gaga joins the team, it turns out he's using the team's TV series to hypnotize the audience to get energy for his portals to summon actual monsters to Earth. But then the funny bit is when it all starts turning real, and like they actually start to like chromatize in real life, because at one point they chromatize and the guys are like, our costumes look a lot less shitty than usual. But even though like it's all becoming real, there's still camera crew around the sides of the levels and stuff, even on the spaceship, and then you're kind of going like, is this real, or is this like actually a part of the show, or like what is actually happening here? That to me was really funny, and I think the game overall is quite funny. But it's funny whenever it's not trying to be funny, which is the weird bit, because I feel like there's a lot of like random humor. Like, so this is a crowd-funded game. And there's levels where like absolute random dickheads will just show up, and they're just complete civilians, and those are because they like
they're probably Kickstarters.
And part of me thinks at the time they were like, oh, this is really funny if this hot dog stand worker jumps into the fight, but it falls really flat. You're kind of like,
has a math axe.
Yeah, and like you're kind of like, that's not that funny, and it kind of ruins everything. But I think it's really funny whenever it's not trying to be funny. So like, for example, one of the bosses is a Barney the dinosaur like ripoff, but it's actually, and then like it turns out he's actually just an actual, so he's like a Barney the dinosaur ripoff, and you're like, oh shit, okay, but it's actually he's actually wearing a costume, but it's actually a giant lizard wearing a Barney the dinosaur costume. So it's like, what the fuck's the point? And I think it's funny that way. It's funny whenever they're not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like it's whenever they try to be funny, I think it falls flat. But I do love the humor, and I love the level of detail for the customization stuff as well. Like to the point where you can name your characters, the point where you can literally decide what they shout whenever you're chromatizing, and like, you know, Alex changing his Megazord call to "Come here, big boy." Like I love that level of customization because it kind of, I think it feeds into my like childhood nostalgia of like playing that as a kid, and like being able to do all that shit. So like, yeah, I think the story element, like the actual story itself is funny, but just goddamn, I love how much you can kind of go with like all the little details they put into it. Really, really, just I find so charming. By the way, I named all our characters after us.
Oh, so did I. So all the footage that's behind this will have our names in it. So I will say, one, I messed up and when I was spelling IOI's name, I actually put a capital A and a capital H. So it's why? The other one is I didn't know what to call the fifth character, so I just called him El Basho.
I just kept it Scar for Scarlett Johansson.
What? Why? Why Scarlett Johansson?
That's who she's based after.
Oh, okay.
Scar? Did you not get that? No?
I changed all the characters like from the default.
No, say all the characters are either Kickstarter people or based off of celebrities,
okay.
or random mascots for some fucking reason. Like the beaver and the alien.
I used the beaver.
I also used the beaver.
I also used the robot.
I did not use the robot.
I did
robot
not go
was
as
the one
far.
with the budding romance on my team.
Yes, he falls in love with Tammy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, Alex. I named all the characters because there's actually the correct number of them. I named them all after the characters in Cowboy Bebop. That's it. So that Spike is the lead.
Nice.
Which is why I gave him a gun. Which is why I said, "Oh, he should be a gun person," and then it fucked up.
I did not go as far as customizing all the shouts and stuff, so our
I did not
characters
do that
did not
either.
yell "Let's bash, guys" whenever they were going to transform.
The first time I played it, I did, and their chromatize was "Welcome back to Bash Bro."
I did it for one mission, and whenever we did our ultimate attack, they yelled, "It's time to bash butts and these nuts."
But see, like that, like that's funny. Like that.
I will not deny that
hilarious.
like there is a very high level of charm in this game. It is like from like the first time you boot it up, you can tell like these are passionate about like this genre and this idea. And
Also, that opening theme tune, fucking that's pumping.
The music is good in this game.
yeah,
I'll give it that.
The main menu music though, as in like whenever you're in the studio, does wear a bit thin after a while though.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the actual in combat stuff and the theme tune is just dope.
Any final thoughts before we move on to our final category? I'll take the silence as a no. So I was wondering this. Power Rangers, immensely popular. Gone, probably like 30 years has been going on. They still make new Power Ranger sets.
Yeah, but I would not say it's as popular as it used to be.
It's obviously not as popular as it used to be, but it's still like I would say it probably still makes a lot of money. Why is there not more Power Rangers video games? I can only think of one, and that was the fighting game that came out like last year or the year before.
It's just apparently trash.
It's gotten
heard it's
very
really
good.
good.
Apparently, it was really
good. Are you
good.
talking about the side-scrolling one or the beat 'em up?
Like the actual
fighting
fighting game, like Street
All
Fighter
right.
fighting game.
There was a side-scrolling game came up, like a restricted raid style.
Oh, it was like hand-drawn art, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did it
I
ever
know
come
that.
out? I definitely
Yeah,
think
it did come out. Yeah. So, my question to you is what sort of game would you like to see? What sort of game do you think would make a really good Power Rangers game?
Right, you ready?
Yeah.
Ready? I'm about to blow your fucking mind. Right, you ready?
Okay,
Telltale.
I'd be all right. Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Even the fact that it's divided into episodes as well actually suits the theme quite well.
My thought was I want a Power Rangers game in the same style as Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Like a RPG.
Yeah, like that sort of RPG, like open world RPG with like that sort of combat. I think that sort of combat will work really well with like the style of combat that's in a Power Rangers, where like you are fighting a lot of feeder minions.
Oh, Dynasty Warriors.
Point and click item finder.
A match 3 game.
Clicker.
I feel like that's like I feel like it's an idea, like even not necessarily licensed Power Rangers, but like something like it. I'm shocked there hasn't been done more. Like you have like there is a lot of Sentai shows out there. Like going back ages, we had like VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, and all that jazz. And like it feels weird that that sort of thing isn't done more.
Okay.
But to me, I think it's a time thing. Like, it's just one of those things that kind of comes and goes out of fashion. Like, the reason Power Rangers is... That's not a bad shout. Oh, like
a Diablo type game?
Yeah.
Like an Ultimate... or Marvel Ultimate Alliance sort of game would be pretty dope.
Neck. What about Power Rangers, but Final Fantasy VII Remake? Combat. You're switching between all the Rangers.
Yeah, it would be really good. It's Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, something like that. I don't. In Power Rangers, right? They're only because of budget, right? Like they only have like one ability, right, or one special move. Well, they get like some gadgets, like I think something.
Yeah, usually. Well, the early seasons, is very much they each have a single weapon and use that, and then occasionally they will put all their weapons together to do a super, really bad CGI attack.
I don't like you talking shit on.
Yeah, we call that a limit breakneck.
I fucking love Power. A couple of years ago, I sat and fucking watched the entirety of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and you know what? Shit's still fucking awesome.
That theme song, fuck.
Oh, so good.
So
just some dude shredding on the guitar for like a minute straight.
Some dude was just flexing that day.
So I remember it was shown on Twitch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I remember watching an episode and then looking at the comments, and what happened was it was a character drop kicking another character. But sorry, not drop kicking, but it was just like, they're in the air with their foot out.
Yeah.
Just one of those moments. But the first camera shot is them like facing the character and like really close, and then the second shot is them like 5 meters away from the enemy, and then it's just a really weird cut, and it's just like, oh, that's some weird gravity.
That was always
Z positioning.
That's always kind of one of the problems. It was because like all the in costume stuff,
it's like
cut
it's
directly
straight,
from the Japanese.
Yeah.
And then all like the civilian stuff is obviously had to be recorded new.
Like that's why in the original series, it's one of the series. One of the female Rangers doesn't have a skirt in her Power Rangers outfit.
Yellow,
because it's a male Power Ranger in the original Japanese series.
Yeah, it's yellow. There's no.
Is it the original yellow? Yeah, I can't remember.
Trainee doesn't have a skirt. Yeah,
because that's played by a male person in the original Japanese series, but then cast as a female whenever they shoot the live action stuff for the American one. Madness. But
it's actually quite cool though that they can do that.
But yeah, so much potential I think for a Power Rangers game. Someone needs to get on it and make more of this style of game.
Yeah, like I would love to see like a Power, maybe not like, and I said like just a Sentai game. Like I suppose like in a really
right. Hold on, right.
Okay.
Next level above Chroma Squad here. What if it's like, do you remember that game, The Movies Hunts, on the PC?
Yes.
What if it's like that, but you're running a studio that makes exclusively like Sentai shows? So you have to say, all right, do I want to make another series of this one, or do I want to like reboot it and have like my next generation of Power Rangers and be like, all right, we're out with the fucking Neo, now it's time for Turbo, bringing the cars, vroom vroom.
Right. This is going to sound out there, but I want you to bear with me. Persona 5 has elements of a Sentai.
Yeah, kind of. You're right.
Yes.
Like, between, like, the whole, like, outcasts, teenagers, hidden abilities, all that sort of stuff. So, technically, could we consider Persona 5 a Sentai game?
Yeah, sure.
Persona 5, but, like, Persona...
Well, you just want a JRPG. That's all you want.
JRPG would be pretty good.
A JRPG Power Rangers game would fit the bill, like...
I guess the problem is, like, there's always 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
And very few games have you...
No, not always 5.
No, definitely not always 5. It changes so much.
In Power Rangers at Dino Thunder, I believe the core group was only 3 until they added Tommy Oliver as the 4th Ranger.
And then there was a White Ranger as well.
Yes. I think then they added 2 extra Rangers, and then I believe Tommy became a White Ranger again.
No, it wasn't. It was... there was the red, the blue, and the yellow.
Yeah.
And then Tommy became the black, and then there
Yeah.
was a white one as well, and then that was it.
No, I'm pretty sure they had two. Like a set of two.
You're thinking of Ninja Storm,
Maybe. I don't know.
where it's the crimson and the navy, and I was like, you already have a red and the blue. You could not diversify
Just
that
make
much
them
in
slightly
color.
different shades.
Fuck's sake, lazy bastard, you. This one is green. This is emerald. This is vert.
Should we just start a Power Rangers like
Podcast. Oh my god, we
Yeah.
should totally make a Power Rangers podcast.
this time we're watching the first series of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Fuck, it's still awesome. Next episode, still great. Man,
Yep.
that movie from a couple of years ago was pretty good.
The what?
The movie from a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty good. I know it got a lot of shit, but I'll stand behind that and say that was a decent Power Ranger movie.
It was alright.
And then they teased Tommy at the end. Now they're never making a fucking sequel.
Fucking cock teases and
Alright, any last things before we wrap this up? Before we go off on more of a tangent. I really like the charm and the presentation of Chroma Squad. It's a shame that I feel like the gameplay side of it really lets it down. I don't know if it's maybe I just went into it wanting something that it wasn't in the first place, but it felt like this is a very, very straightforward game with not a lot of room for innovation or different strategies and things like that. I think if you're way into the Sentai stuff, this, like the charm and the presentation will probably be enough to carry it through it. It's not a massively long game in the first place. There's probably enough there to get through. It's like, yeah, that's a really enjoyable experience. But if you're just looking for like this sort of tactics game, there's better places to probably look for this style. Even if you're not looking for the style of an XCOM or a Fire Emblem, there is better ones than this, I'd say, out there. If you have no affinity for the Power Ranger stylings. Hans.
yeah, this is a game for fans of Power Rangers, not necessarily for fans of strategy games. I think that the combat and stuff is competent, but is no means spectacular. It is enough there to kind of base the charm of the narrative and the humor and stuff around to actually be able to call it a game. So yeah, to me the driving force behind this is the fandom and the charm of Power Rangers, and if you're into Power Rangers or you grew up with Power Rangers, I think you'll really, really enjoy it, and it's definitely worth a laugh considering it is only like, I think I picked this up originally for like 15 quid, so yeah, I think it's a quick, cheap laugh.
Alex.
I'm pretty much in agreement with Hans about everything. So, yeah.
God damn it. Oh,
So I think if you are a fan of this genre, of the Sentai stuff, like, go for it. I think they aimed to create that kind of game and they succeeded. It's just as a like gameplay standpoint, it's not great in my opinion, anyway. But it doesn't like offend me, right? Like some of Alex's games. So take that what you will, right?
So, all in all, good for Power Rangers fans, not really for Tactics fans. I think that's a fair assumption. There's stuff there, it feels like, but it gets by a lot more on the presentation than it does the gameplay.
Yeah.
But before we wrap it up, Hans, what will we be playing for May's edition of Game Club?
As you know, I like to keep things current.
If you pick Final Fantasy 7 again, I swear to God.
No. Boys, you can't get much more current than on the same very day. A couple of hours ago.
Is it
was
Assassin's Creed?
Yeah. So a couple of hours ago, one of the artists for Assassin's Creed streamed pretty much what the setting of the next Assassin's Creed will be. It'll be Vikings. So my pick for May is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Because one...
Is it the closest thing to Vikings?
No, it's because it's on the Switch, so I might be able to play it, and well, definitely.
Do I want to play it on the Switch?
But also because everyone loved Black Flag, like they thought it was amazing, and I hated it. However,
What?
Yeah, I hated it. I really didn't like it. However, because I have kind of come around to the idea that Assassin's Creed is no longer a stealth game, because I was playing Odyssey and I did enjoy it. I've kind of come around on the idea that it's no longer a stealth game. I want to revisit it because this Assassin's Creed 4 was not a stealth game. So Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Let's do it.
I haven't played Assassin's Creed since Brotherhood.
I haven't played one
Brotherhood's
since
dope.
1.
Well,
This is interesting then.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is so fucking good.
It is. I really wanted to pick it, but it's not on the Switch, and I don't think IOI's computer would
It
hold up to it.
might blow up IOI's laptop.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, I'll pick Odyssey. 100% I'll pick Odyssey, but then I was like, no. That's why I was like, I'm not sure if everyone's going to be able to play it. It was either this or Chronicles.
We will find out in May if IOI still has the laptop or if it is melted under the pressure.
Well, we could play it on the Switch.
Sure. Yeah. I feel like the Switch might also melt to that game. My Switch makes a lot of loud noises whenever I play something like Animal Crossing, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I had some weird. I think this is just my Switch. It's nothing to do with Chroma Squad, but I had a lot of issues recently for some reason where it just was like really choked.
Yeah, I had that as well.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, during the end, like when I had like 19 people on the screen, and I was like, enemy's turn. I was like, oh fuck, here we go. I was like,
But yes, join us in May where we'll be talking about Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. But for now, it's goodbye from Hans.
ahoy!
A goodbye from Alex.
bye.
Goodbye from IOI.
It's leaving time.
And a goodbye from myself. See you next time.